On the subject of Israel, last year you said you supported Israel in their attacks on Hamas in Gaza. One question people would be interested in is whether you've ever visited Israel, whether you visited in particular Yad Vashem and the 5,000, the Valley of the Communities that were lost, 5,000 communities, or the Children's Memorial where 1.5 million were lost, and very moving. Have you ever visited?
I haven't visited Israel, no.
So do you have any plans to visit Israel?
I have no plans to visit.
Or would it be too controversial?
It would be controversial, I believe. I'm not sure if the Israelis would let me in. Even the Australians won't let me in, so possibly the Israelis wouldn't. So no, I haven't. And equally, I have no plans to go to, say, parts of Russia, the Ukraine, Poland and so on, where there's the mass graves of the Christian victims of communism.
But it's a very important point, because you could say now that you've seen new statistics which mean that you're more likely to revise up the numbers who perished in the Holocaust. But just the very fact that you have questioned it, don't you think you're playing into the hands of Holocaust deniers? And what, in terms of the political arena, who are you appealing to when you do that?
In the past, I've done more than question it. I said very rude things about the way in which the Holocaust is used and abused by Gentile leftists to stop any sensible discussion on things such as immigration. I was very, very angry. I met many years ago, in fact,
Do you renounce that now? I mean, you said you changed, and frankly, the bottom line of the gospel is that we can all change, and if we all looked within ourselves, we'd see something we're not happy with that we've done in the past. But do you renounce that completely, this sort of questioning or raising of question marks over this whole issue?
I think it's something that historians are entitled to do. Yeah. There's nothing... People have a right to be wrong. Personally and politically, I think that that's utterly irrelevant. Now, it's something from the last.
Because it's so questioned in the Islamic world. Now, you've mentioned the Islamic world, right? I mean, Mein Kampf, Protocols of the Elders of Zion, very popular in the Islamic world. You read Mein Kampf. I mean, what did you get from it? Firstly, why did you read it? And secondly, people will question, has this influenced him? Because this is how you're portrayed.
Well, at the same time I read Mein Kampf, I read the Communist Manifesto, I read the writings of Lenin, which are probably even more boring than those of Hitler.
So my question would be, has that influenced you as well? I mean,
no, I don't think so. The only thing, Mein Kampf is a shockingly boring book. The only interesting thing in it for anyone interested in politics is the piece on propaganda, because you can learn from that, and I'm sure that Christians could look at that and learn from that to spread the good word and so on, perhaps. But that's all there is to it. As I read it many years ago, as with all sorts of things, it's irrelevant. Really, Hitler was one of the great monsters of a century of monsters, and to use him, or any of them in fact, to prevent sensible debate and discussion about the issues affecting us now is, I think, something that is very wrong. And in particular, you're right that the only place really where Nazism lives on in people's hearts is amongst sections of radical Islam, which is an indication, or should be a warning to us, as just how dangerous that philosophy is.
Do you think there could be a day, now that you've been through this hoop of changing your constitution to admit black and minority members, a day when you could have black leadership of the BNP?
I suppose it's theoretically possible. I think it would be a sad thing, not because I have anything at all against black people, but because still the majority of people in this country, and for many, many years to come, will be what the politically correct and the BBC and the government insists on calling white, what we would say are indigenous Brits, the Celts, the Anglo-Saxons and so on. And I would think it was a shame if Kenya had a white president. I think it should have a black president. If India had a Chinese president, I think it should have an Indian president. Why can't the people of this country carrying on having people in the end governing the country who are like we always have been traditionally?
Okay, well, thank you for that.